Tiffany Henyard. A lot of people have been, wanting me to shine in on this particular topic. And I guess, I'm here to do that. Here to do that. And tonight, the Lawyer Henderson show is live. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lawyers and Podcast show is live. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right, all right. Welcome to the Lawyers and Podcast show. Welcome. Thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. And we are here. We're here. Mm-hmm. Took a month vacation off. Had a lot of stuff to do. Editing a book, editing a film, doing a lot of stuff there. So when people basically be like, "Yeah, where that lawyer Henderson at? And where we talk about these white folks," I don't desire to basically be away from you. Those of y'all who the Black family who's basically been listening to the Lawyers and Podcast show for almost a decade. I would say 7 years, not a decade yet, but at least 7 years. Yeah. So what's today that we're talking about on Lawyers Podcast show? I want to also do our lineup, of what we're going to be talking about this month here and even next month. As you know, Jim Crow Joe Biden is basically trying to get these black bootlicking Negroes to galvanize the black vote. And it's not working this time. We'll be talking about how Trump is taking some black folks away from Jim Crow Joe. Right. Then we'll be talking about the passport bros. And I know basically some of you, my audience, wanted me to deal with the soft guy era, the drizzle, and all this sort of stuff. We talked there about relationships. I did this a lot on Facebook, if you don't recall, where we talked about, relationships, the soft guy era, black relationships under the system of white supremacy. We talked about all of that before. So I guess you want a refresher there. Thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to donate. Cash App me there. The Cash App is, of course, at the bottom of the description. ScrewTube has me on a permanent ban. And so we've been basically moving our platform, of course, on TikTok. And like I said, I've been very busy. So TikTok should have us, well, we have already got the platform up. It's just that we got to start uploading our videos and going live. So yeah, we're going to be going on TikTok pretty soon, but we'll still have ScrewTube. And then, of course, we're working on our Patreon page. So the Lawyers and Podcast show is growing there. Okay. Like, share, and subscribe. Welcome to the Lawyers and Podcast show. Tonight, we're talking about Tiffany Henyard. Now, of course, a lot of people in the black media has been talking about the supermate. And I have not shined in because, like I just said earlier, I've been on vacation for a month when all the smoke was going down. Tiffany Henyard, a super mayor. I've been all on vacation. I've been basically, pausing a little bit. But yeah, our super mayor Tiffany Henyard down in Dolton, Illinois. She's been cutting up down there. At one point, she said to the audience, to the trustees, she was like, the people come to see the mayor. They come to see the mayor. They don't come and see you trustees that don't do anything for me, for y'all, for them. Now vote for me. You're a super mayor. I want to start out and asking how she ran her campaign. I know that she used to be on the board of trustees in a small town of Dolton, Illinois. But she had opened up a can of worms that a lot of politicians, of course, do, and that is to spend lavishly with the taxpayers' dollars. And so basically it's nothing new. White folks do this as well, but they know how to, as long as you're giving them a piece of the pie, they really are not going to say anything. It's just when Black people, they basically have to iron their dirty laundry out in public. Only difference there, you see. Thank you for joining here on the Lawyers and Podcast Show. Thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. Screw 2 have us on a permanent ban. In other words, they said, look here, nigga, you don't get no access to the algorithm. You cannot even dip into the water of the algorithm that we got. You see. So yeah, the it's on. But let's talk about this. Let's go into more detail, because the most important thing to talk about, that when you elect a Black official or white official or any politician in office, let's basically look at how the people is also guilty of this as well. I want to give a different aspect to what everybody else is saying in the Black media. But first, I want to point out that on around May the 15th of 2024, the Dolton trustees appointed Mayor Pro Tem amid scrutiny over Mayor Henyard's lack of attendance at village meetings. And that was done on May. That was written, give Jenna Barnes and Gabriel Castillo from WGNT.com credit, because I wanted to take on a different approach here and to scrutinize a different situation about the mayor there. It was also, remember, not too long ago, they hired Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. They hired, what's the former mayor of Chicago to basically come in. Beetlejuice. I forget Beetlejuice's name. It's going to come to Lori Lightfoot. Yeah, thank you, Lori Lightfoot. Someone in the chat said Lori Lightfoot. Yeah, Beetlejuice was hired to investigate the mayor, the super mayor. Okay, the super mayor. Y'all don't do nothing for the community. I do something for the Black community. Y'all don't do nothing. And y'all are here attacking a Black woman who's in power. That's our super mayor, you know what I'm saying? But no, the article reads here from WGN-TV. It says, during special village meetings in Dolton on Monday, night trustee chose someone to conduct official business when we have many cases where village businesses cannot go forward, House said Monday. Okay, so this mayor basically, of course, they said they're waiting so long for her to come to certain meetings that they were holding, of course. The article goes on to say that Dolton trustees opposed to Henyard said she had missed 25 of the special meetings and refused to allow some business to be put on the agenda for the village regular meeting. We're just really trying to make sure that if something critical comes up, that there is a signature on deck that can move it forward, House said. House will not replace the mayor, but he would step in when Henyard is absent, which some trustees say happens far too often. Okay. So this is one of the trustee House saying that the mayor sometimes show up late or she doesn't show up at all in their meetings. He goes on to say that this is just, I'm sorry, this is just in case, but we need, just in case at this moment, we have meetings where we're all waiting 45 minutes just to get started, Village trustee Brittany Norwood said. Well, we have an entire quorum here. We're waiting while the administration add makeup and get dressed, and it's just not fair. The move comes amid mounting scrutiny over how the mayor runs the village of Dolton in Thornton Township. The FBI recently served subpoenas in both places. Henyard told A. Keith Freeman was recently charged with bankruptcy fraud and her ally on the board of trustees. Activist Andrew Holmes was recently accused of sexual assault on a taxpayer-funded trip to Las Vegas. Okay? Again, iron out the mayor's dirty laundry there, you see. And Black people only do this. Remember, we talked there about the fact that, again, when Black politicians are elected, what are some of the things that we basically are concerned about when Black politicians are elected in general? And we say that what? They don't do anything for the Black community. We talk about that so much already. Okay. So if she's not basically doing anything for the community, which is most of her constituency is Black, of course, and she's basically doing it for herself, which is, of course, most Black politicians do. So I would ask the village, I would ask the people who basically criticizing her, what is she doing different that any other Black politician is doing? I mean, just basically, if there was basically, I wish I had my phone system here to have people call up and answer that question. What is she doing different that Black politicians don't do in general? Now, remind you that the people of Dolton elected her, asked them why and how did they see her as a candidate for the outstart. Ask them that. And basically, they would not be able to tell you, well, she a Black woman and she keep it real and stuff. And by the way, of course, like certain times where you have mayors in small towns, basically they do a lot of photo picture ops and things of that nature, especially if she's a woman, because in a small town, it's not like a major city where you have a mayor just have to show up to certain things and that's all she do. So when she's making, so when people are basically, is looking for her to be at these meetings and stuff to take care of business, and then she take a trip to Las Vegas spending the taxpayers' dollars. Okay, you whine and complain, but you really didn't sit down, as we know that Black people don't do in general, is sit down and observed candidates for office. And this is our biggest problem as Black folks. We don't really look at the fact that, okay, we just say, oh, she's a sister girl. She gonna basically bring Black magic. And before you know it, she getting our vote. Okay. Oh, this is a Black man. He's gonna deal with Black people problems. And before you know it, the Black man's gonna get that vote. But we still don't see the outcome that these Black politicians are not for us. They were never for us. And so, again, we really didn't have a real Black politician that really was for the people since Maynard Jackson. I mean, just basically tell me what Black politician is doing something for the Black community today besides giving and helping, like the Black mayor of New York City and the Black mayor of Chicago, who are giving our taxpayers money to illegal immigrants. Talk to me. Leave the comment basically and tell me, what is she doing different? Now, of course, she's not bringing in legal immigrants, but at the same time, she's not helping Black people. And basically, the people in her city should have known that she was going to have the sister girl attitude. Okay. And so this is and so you got a lot of Black women who support this type of stuff as well. All they see is a Black woman, and they're going to say, oh, she's on some Black girl magic stuff, and they're going to go to the polls and vote for her. But is this really Tiffany Henyard's fault as it relates to the constituency that vote her into office? How did she get there in the first place? You see, we have to look at the voters and say, you have to scrutinize these electoral officials. And then as soon as she got in there, what did she do? She started to use the police that should be basically out there patrolling the streets. She got them as her personal bodyguards. And they're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars of money that they didn't work for as basically to protect her. So now you're looking at her being or trying to act just like these Black celebrities, and her, and calling her the super mayor or whatever. And she become prominent and met a lot of the Democratic Party's officials and stuff in Washington and stuff of that nature. You have to look at it that she basically is doing what Black celebrities do. But she's in office, and basically you can criticize her. You can criticize New York's mayors Adams and Chicago Mayor Johnson. All of them, Black political leaders in every arena, including civil rights leaders. None of them have the might for the people. They don't have basically the will to get anything done for the Black community. They're just there to window dress, as Malcolm taught us. They're just there to window dress. By the way, I think Malcolm's birthday was not too long ago, May the 19th, that we celebrate Malcolm's birthday. But they don't have the will for the people. The Democrats basically have shown their ass ever since we got out of slavery. And we basically knew that. And we had the old civil rights generation that knew that. And then, as I often say in some of my arenas, also the civil rights generation's eldest children, your Keisha Lance Bottoms, your Kasim Reeds, and other people like this mayor. These are the civil rights generation's eldest children. When the civil rights generation took a walk, their eldest children, of course, took a walk with them. We have to be very, very aware of that notion, that these Black politicians are not for us. They basically have to impress their white paymasters. And if they don't do that, you'll find that they're going to basically be in trouble, because they're going to put all kinds of, they're going to start basically trying to get them out of office by claiming that they did some illegal if you start working for the Black community. And this is the reason why we're not supporting a lot of Black politicians today, that we're not interested in voting per se. You still got a few Black people who will go out and vote, of course, but the vast majority of Black people have given up on voting. They basically looking at these Black politicians and white politicians and say that we have to galvanize the Black vote. We have to be stingy with the Black vote. Still yet, I asked that question. How did Mayor Henyard get into office? She got into the office because there was a lot of black folks, a lot of black females who wear their hair blonde, a weave in their hair, who basically decided that they're going to vote for the sister girl, and now she got in there and started showing her tail, you know. And she's a narcissist, no doubt. When we come back from our music break here on the Lawyers and Podcast show, we're going to talk more about the super mayor, Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Stay with us. On the Lawyers and Podcast show, we're talking about Mayor Tiffany Henyard of Dolton, Illinois, the super mayor. And thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. This is part 2 of the Lawyers and Podcast show, where we talk about how Mayor Tiffany Henyard became a celebrity mayor. And I think this is what was one of her intentions. Okay, a lot of times that we see black people doing this, hanging out with celebrities, hanging out with big high-profile politicians. So Mayor Tiffany Henyard had always wanted to be a celebrity. She had always wanted to be into the room with high-profile people, which is why, as you see her billboards and advertisement with her face in the city, what do you think? Where did you think that basically come from? Her wanting to be a celebrity, okay, not wanting to deal with what the people got going on. Well, what did that Dolton trustees say? They said she missed 25 special meetings. She don't want to, the hell with trying to, to conduct business. I'm going to a concert, And so we got a lot of black people like this that get into politics, but they're really trying to celebritize themselves, if that makes sense. They're really trying to celebritize themselves. So they're basically in it for the celebrity, not in it for trying to, manage a city. But because, the media keep on, giving them shine and giving them publicity, and then you have the citizens who put her in office, like I said earlier, by the way, they didn't really talk about or asked her. I don't think the citizens really asked her the legitimate questions that they're now asking her now. What are you going to do for the city as far as business licenses and things of that nature? Are you going to be fair in that regard? They didn't really ask. I don't think they really asked her questions about what her plans was more effectively for the city of Dolton. And they just basically took it like we often do and say, hey, I'm a black person. Yes, I got blonde hair or brown hair and I dyed the hair, but put me in office. You see a lot of these billboards where you got black women, basically with blonde hair, and they expect us to go out and vote for them. I mean, it's like we're done with that. Okay. And that's why most of the time we're not basically voting out here because we in the Black grassroots, we are against, you know, just voting now for Black people just because you're Black. You got to come with some kind of program or some type of thing or idea that is going to now make people go to the polls for you. The Gen Zs, of course, who basically would change American outcome of city politics or state and government politics in the near future, you got to come with something with money benefits for them to even go out and vote for you. Okay. The only people who didn't really ask for anything was the old civil rights generation. They just want white people to be like, yeah. You white folks, y'all like me, y'all shake my hand, white daddy, white mommy. Oh yeah, white mommy and white daddy shook my hand. Oh yeah. So that's what the old civil rights generation was looking for. They were looking for a handshake. But the younger generation is going to ask for more and more things. They're going to ask for more and more tangible benefits. They're not just going to go out and vote. And this is what white people are worried about. They're upset that we're becoming way more stingy with the Black vote. You look and read their articles, they're already talking about, well, Black people typically vote Democrat. Yes, that's true. But basically, that is declining every day, every week, every month, every year. And now these Black politicians don't know what to do because we are also not going to the polls to vote for them just for nothing. But wait a minute, that's one of the reasons why they were able to get into office to help these white folks, continue their assault on us economically, is because they had some bootlicking Negro who would run for office, as Malcolm taught us, and basically would, steer the Negro votes and galvanize the Negro vote. And, basically Black people would just go out and just vote because the civil rights generation or some civil rights or other types of so-called leader or celebrity will tell us to. But that's not happening anymore. The Black celebrity, of course, is trying to convince the younger generation now to go out and vote for these politicians, even though they're not telling us what their agendas are for us, what they're going to do for us. They still basically don't want to give you their agenda for you because they don't have one. And this is the reason why we're more stingy with our vote. But how did the super mayor get in office? How did she get in office? Is because Black people voted for her. Did she promise that she was going to basically make sure there be a growth of Black businesses in Dolton? Did they ask those questions? See, it's not enough to just criticize her, but then the mistakes that was made by the residents once she got there. You see. And so now, like I said earlier, she wanted to always be a celebrity. A lot of times when people are in activism, they are more of, when they get in front of the cameras, it's a whole different thing. It's real different. And Sister Girl Mayor, she has to basically make sure that her makeup is on, her mascara, her lipstick is right, her weave and wig is okay, because she knows that the cameras are there. Okay. But yeah, the FBI had basically served subpoena on her spending and her trip to Las Vegas now. And so now the super mayor is finding herself in hot water. Okay. And the question now, is she going to jail? Okay. Andrew Holmes, one of the trustees, of course, Andrew Holmes always show up, of course, uh, in situations like this. Andrew Holmes, the same players that white folks have in Chicago, will have certain type of Negroes that they can trot out. And Andrew Holmes is one of those Negroes. You remember Andrew Holmes from the Kanika Jenkins case, by the way. He was the one who was telling black people down there in Chicago, hey, y'all shouldn't be out there. Y'all shouldn't be out there protesting because the hotel is losing money. And I saw her walk into the freezer. Remember, that's Andrew Holmes. Remember him? And we know that Andrew Holmes is a liar. And now Andrew Holmes, on this trip to Las Vegas, he's been accused of rape by a woman. And that woman had came out. And now Andrew Holmes also found himself in hot water. But they always trot out Andrew Holmes. But Andrew Holmes now, just like all black politicians, meet the fate because of being bootlegs. They now are being destroyed by the people who put them in office. Not by black folks, but the white folks who want them in office to do white folks' dirty work. So the super mayor, talked there about the super mayor. I want the super mayor to get out of office. You're not going to vote for the super mayor again. Oh, that's nice. The question is why y'all vote for her in the first place. See, I wanted to bring a different perspective to the conversation about our super mayor down there in Dolton. You see, it's not about just blaming her. It's about blaming the people who put her in office as well. You see. And that's what we have to focus on. And that's the reason why she's able to shout out. They didn't come and see y'all. They came and see the mayor. They didn't come and see the trustee that doesn't do nothing. They came to see the mayor. Our little super mayor down there, right? And these young mayors are getting into office, and they don't know how to see, because a lot of women who like to, it's not just women, it's not just black women who does this. When the young black women who get into politics, black men do this as well. We first saw this particular situation go down in Detroit with Kwame Kilpatrick. I hope I said the man's name right. And remember that stripper, that dancer that mysteriously got killed down there? And, she had a lot of dirt on her down there. So we get these gangsterous type, thug energy type black celebrities that run for office and basically have all these stripper parties and going and doing this and taking vacations to Las Vegas and wanting to be, wanting to celebritize themselves and not take on the business of the people. This is the same thing that the old civil rights generation was doing when we talk about integration and all this other stuff. Okay. And now, because of the Gen Zs and the black millennials and the younger people are coming up, they need to celebritize mayors, just like they do basketball athletes and other people, just to make sure that these people who run for office is more worried about themselves, but they don't do anything for the black community. And that's the reason then why they got her head basically swole as far as running for office, because as long as she can celebritize herself and that these black people see that, she is not doing anything for the community. It's another strategy that white folks have for black politicians, especially the young black politicians, because they tried this in the 1990s. With Tupac, of course, with Biggie Smalls, and keeping black people fighting, black celebrities fighting. And then that's when you have the old civil rights generation, and the old civil rights generation was not talking about economics in the black community. They were not talking about things that black people need in the neighborhoods as far as wealth growth. They were talking about what? Having sexual access to white women. Yeah. Y'all need to stop all talking about the discrimination down there. We integrated the lunch crowd on counters down there. We did. We went there in our march and our rally with Dr. King down there. And so now that's how and that civil rights generation, you got a John Lewis and you got Obama, you got a Kamala Harris, so you got all these people. And this because the civil rights generation helped to produce them. And of course, as you know, they're not going to talk about black wealth. They're not going to talk about black economics. They're not going to talk about giving monies and other types of reparations to us. These people basically is going to keep us away from that. And they did that successfully in the 1990s. Perhaps, of course, here in the year 2000 and beyond, year 2024, could they continue not giving black people an economic system? Because that's exactly what the white system and the white Europeans in this country is about. That's what they're about in general. How do we keep black people down? We can keep them throwing celebrities in their face. Oh, if they run for politics, we can also have them running as a black celebrity, and we can basically keep them fighting each other, but yet don't let them deal with their economic problems. And that has been the white man's strategy. And this is something that Malcolm taught us a long, long time ago. He taught us that the black man should control the politics and the economy of his own community. That you can't set up a business in a white man's neighborhood. White man won't patronize you. And he's not wrong, as Malcolm said. He's just got sense enough to look out for himself. You're the one who don't have sense enough to look out for yourself, is what he said, in his speech, The Ballad of the Bullet, or the Bullet. So we're taken back to our super mayor. She basically is in trouble, of course, but it is the constituency who vote her in. And this is the reason why we have to be very, very, very more and more, we have to basically scrutinize these politicians now. It's not enough just to be a black candidate anymore, okay? Because you can come as a black celebritized candidate. You can come as a black candidate that, supports civil rights and all this stuff. You come as a black celebrity who basically used to work in TV and film and used to be this person who claims that he used to be a former gang member. But yet, we don't see the black Bill Gates coming in. We don't see the black person who basically is going to be the new Mayor Jackson to help black people flourish economically in these communities. And of course, I'm going to stay on these illegal immigrants, about these black men who are in Chicago, these black mayors, Johnson and Adams, who are bringing these illegal immigrants over here and stepping on and piling up on black people in those cities. Whereas black people basically now is trying to find a way to survive. And this is the reason why the Democratic Party is done. This is why they're done. Basically, the black vote is no longer going to be basically given to the Democratic Party. And the white man now is basically, when he brought in these illegal immigrants, he is saying that this is the third phase of what? Of Reconstruction. And what did Jim Crow Joe Biden tell you when he ran for president? And we're going to be basically talking about this here coming up in the future about him going against Trump for a rematch here. He said that the Hispanics are the future of America. And we'll talk about it on the Lawyerson podcast show. But yes, but I wanted to shine in on our super mayor down there in Dolton. She's not doing anything different than any other black politician, black celebrity does when they're running for office. Not doing nothing different. Nothing different. She's just not, pretty smart as to what she's doing. And the spending, of course, is out of control. And they're going to scrutinize a black politician moreover anyway, because the black politician, white people know that the black politician have the power, the access to give the contracts, the city contracts away. And there's a few white people who is expecting to get those city contracts. And as long as they're getting those city contracts, the white folks in those constituency doesn't have no problem. But as soon as you take those those contracts away from the white folks, that's when you get no problem, you see. And so you have to look at it there. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Lawyerson podcast show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments as well. Also, don't forget that we're coming back on this month and next month in June. And we'll be in full force in the Lawyerson podcast show. And also, don't forget I want to point out that, like I said, we're coming with our platform on TikTok. Okay, and so, leave your comments. A lot of you disagree. That's fine. Leave your comments. You've been listening to the Lawyerson podcast show. Take care.